Hi, friends. My name is Alyssa. I am so glad that you're here. Today is a much requested little yoga practice for flexibility. And we're not working towards any big acrobatic feats. Today, we're really focused on everyday mobility and opening up the body in ways that will help support you in your normal everyday life. So, whether you work at a desk most of the day or you're on your feet, this practice should leave you feeling good and a little bit more open in your body and your mind. Let's go. All right, so to get started, let's all come to stand. We'll set up Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet are hip width distance apart, parallel to each other. And start to lift up through the body, lifting through the thighs, the belly, the chest, and the very tippy top, the crown of the head. As the inner body lifts up, allow the outer body, the muscles of the face, the shoulders, the skin to gently soften and relax down towards the earth. If it feels safe and comfortable, perhaps close the eyes. As we transition from thinking to feeling, notice your breath. Where do you feel your breath today? Maybe you're naturally inhaling and exhaling through the nose or the mouth. Do you notice your breath landing in your chest, maybe the rib cage, the belly? Do you feel it more at the front of the body or the back? And there's no right or wrong. We're just taking note of how we're showing up today, where we're starting. And together with intention, we'll start to deepen that breath. So on your next exhale, exhale everything out, every last drop. Let it go. And allow a more full, complete breath as you inhale through the nose if it's clear. Call that breath all the way down into the belly. Let the belly soften and expand. And exhale again, everything out. A little more complete exhale each time. On your next inhale, pulling the breath all the way down to the low belly. Fill the front body, back body, both sides. And keep going just like that, exhaling a little more completely to invite an even more full, more buoyant breath. We'll add some gentle movement with the breath. So on your next inhale, reach the arms out, around, rise all the way up, big stretch. And then bring both arms up and over towards the right. Press into the left foot, firm the belly gently. Spin the chest open like a flower chasing the sun. Exhale to stand back up. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, reach through the arms, and inhale up and over towards the left. Press into the right foot this time as you stretch through the left waist. You can circle the wrist here, turn the face down or up, maybe open and close the jaw. Find little pockets of tension that can start to release. And then come back up to center. From here, we'll release the hands down behind us, palms face each other. And we're looking to open through the chest, a little mini back bend in the upper back. So as the hands reach back, Keep drawing the front ribs down. And if it's easy to reach in the body, maybe interlace fingers or grab opposite forearms. If either of those cause the chest to start to collapse or the shoulder heads to draw forward, just simply undo. One more breath here, lifting through the chest, draw the shoulder blades together on the back. And exhale, fold over the legs, soften the knees, belly on the thighs. Let the entire spine relax. Let gravity do its work. You might even clasp opposite elbows or sway gently side to side. Good. As you inhale, slide the hands up to the upper thighs, bend the knees, send the weight back into the heels. We're moving into a little mini chair twist. So that's why we're sending the weight back into the heels, bend the knees. You'll feel the legs, the glutes turn on. And then take the left hand over to the right outer thigh. Right hand comes to the hip or the back of the pelvis. Gentle twist towards the right. Notice if the left knee starts to creep forward. See if you can draw it back so it's in the same line with the right. Wringing out the spine. Exhale to fold over the legs one more time. Belly on the thighs, let the head hang. If you clasped elbows on the last time, then go ahead and switch the direction of your clasps. So take whichever way feels a little funky. And then release. Slide the hands up to the upper thighs. Find your supported chair pose. Weight back in the heels as much as you can. Bend the knees and then take the right hand to the outer left thigh, left hand to the hip or the back of the pelvis. Gentle twist. And the right knee for most of us is naturally going to want to come forward. It helps take the twist out of our spine and puts that twist in the pelvis. So draw the knee back, keep the knees in the same line. You could even zip the legs together to help with that so that you can twist a little more through the upper back. Good. Exhale. Last time, undo, fold over the legs. This time we'll bend the knees so much that we come all the way down to a seat. All right, from here, we're gonna lower all the way onto our back. So you can take hands behind the thighs and gently roll all the way down, come to recline on the back. Good. When you get there, hug the right knee into the chest, grabbing the back of the right thigh. Squeeze the knee in and up towards the armpit. You might give a little rock left to right. Find that sweet spot. Maybe it's a little closer towards the chest or a little more out to the side that the leg can hug in as close as comfortable to the body. And then we'll soften that grip on the leg and allow the sole of the foot to start to reach up towards the sky. Stretching through the back of the right leg. You can gently walk the hands a little closer towards the foot. But notice if, as you do, if the pelvis starts to lift up off the floor on one side, or if the right side of your waist starts to shrink, if it's scrunching up on the right so that you can reach, and consider backing off just a bit so that both sides of your waist are even, spacious, and you're beginning to work a stretch in the back of the right leg or hamstring. If the low back feels steady and stable where it is, you can stay, or consider playing with straightening through the left leg. Flex the toes so the inner thigh is still drawing down even on that extended leg. You might circle the top ankle, move through the toes, get the most out of this time here. Good. We'll come to bend the right knee, moving into a twist. Take the knee across the body. Open the right arm out towards the right. You can turn the face towards the right as well. And if that right shoulder, the right arm is floating up in space, we have a couple of options. One is to use any sort of props. It could be pillows or blankets or blocks or a sweatshirt that you have nearby, and use them to support that lifted part of the body. Whatever is lifted, just give it a little support. Other option, if there's nothing nearby, but there's discomfort from a floating appendage or arm, is you could gently undo a bit of the twist and even take the legs together and twist just a little less deeply. Take one more breath wherever you are in your version of the twist. And on an exhale from the belly to come back to center, hug both knees in. We'll switch to the other side. So setting the sole of the right foot down, knee bent, grab the back of the left thigh, hug the left thigh in towards the chest, giving a little squeeze, a little compression to the front of that hip flexor. You might rock the thigh gently left to right. Find the sweet spot where you feel like you can get a good snuggle into the body. Maybe it's a little closer towards the chest, the sternum, or maybe further out towards the armpit. And then we'll release that contraction of the leg. Allow the foot to come up towards the ceiling. Soften the grip with the arms. And then begin to work the leg towards straight. You can flex through the top toes or roll the ankle, roll the toes. But allow the shoulders to soften. Notice if you start to walk the hands up to any point that the left side of the waist starts to contract or constrict, or the hip starts to lift off of the floor, the back of the pelvis lifts. Walk the hands down a bit more. Give yourself even more space so we can work that stability and evenness in the spine that'll help us feel good all day. If the low back feels stable, you might play with straightening the right leg on this side. If you did on the left, flex through the right toes. Draw the inner thigh down. So we don't want the leg splaying out here. We want to keep it neutral in the hip socket. One more breath. Gently stretching through the back of the left hamstring. And we'll bend the knee. Use the hands to help guide the left leg, this time across the body. Another option, actually, that I didn't mention on the other side is you can also change the thing that's floating. So if bringing the knee all the way to the floor causes the elbow or the shoulder to float out in space kind of uncomfortably, you can also put a support, a lift, a pillow, or blanket block under the knee. So the knee has something to rest on, and the shoulder can also stay anchored down. We're looking for a healthy range of motion in the spine where the body and all of its appendages are supported. And just allow the breath to move through you as you rest in this twist. Maybe turning the face towards the left allowing the twist to move all the way up through the cervical spine, the neck. On an exhale, come back to center. Hug both knees in. And then we'll take the left kneecap in the left hand, the right in the right hand. Make big circles with the legs towards you, apart, away, and together. Starting to create a little more movement through the hip joint. You can change directions of your circle. Good. And from here, plant the left foot down on the ground once again. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. Flex the toes of the right foot. So we're active through the foot to help stabilize and protect the knee joint and the ankle joint. You might stay right here. This might feel like a great stretch in the outer right hip. If you don't quite feel any stretch yet, and the joints in the knee, ankle all feel okay, then you might float up onto the left toes, float the left leg, and checking out how you feel each stop along the way. Final option would be to take the hands to the back of the left thigh. And again, things to look out for here are the same as what they were in the previous set of postures. So notice if the right side of the waist is contracting a lot, or if the pelvis is lifting to get that stretch. If it is, if any of those things are going on, we're likely not actually getting that much of a stretch in the outer hip. Instead, we're compensating in these other areas of the body to reach that range of motion. So there's no final destination, no end goal. So anywhere you are along that route is perfect as long as the spine is neutral, long in its natural, healthy curves, and you're starting to feel a mild or moderate stretch in the outer right hip. Good, let's undo on this side. Set the right foot down, cross the left ankle over the right. And again, this might feel like a lot already. Notice the outer left hip this time. You can even engage those muscles a bit. Just use the muscles of the outer hip to start to pull the knee away from the face, keeping the toes of the left foot flexed. And notice how that feels in the hip. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you come onto the right toes. How does your hip feel? Maybe you float the foot. How does the hip feel? And notice any of those little patterns, those habits. Where does the body want to compensate? Is the left waist shrinking? Is the pelvis, back of the pelvis lifting? How can you create more space, more ease through the entire spine, stability through the pelvis, through the low back as you start to open up through the outer hip? Choose what is sustainable for you. And on an exhale, gently undo. You can take the knees into the chest one last time, maybe a little rock and roll. And final posture we'll play with together is happy baby. You can grab the backs of the thighs, knees slightly wide apart. And then as best as you can with the back of the pelvis really flush with the floor. Let the back of the pelvis feel heavy. And then start to reach the feet up towards the ceiling. So this is a stretch for the hips as well as working into the backs of the legs. You might play with the hands coming to the outer edges of the feet. You can rock left to right, little massage for the back body. And continuing those deep breaths in and out. And on an exhale, gently release. Stretch the legs out long. And we'll close in Shavasana or corpse pose. Here you can let the legs just flop out to the side, let the palms open up. And close with a few more sweet, intentional breaths, calling in what is nourishing you, what is energizing you, what is healing you. With each exhale, letting go of anything that you're ready to clear, anything you don't need. Bring the palms together at the heart and take a moment in gratitude for yourself for showing up for you today. You did it. I hope you're feeling good. And thumbs press up in between the eyebrows, this spot often referred to as the third eye, known for true seeing. I am so grateful that we were able to share this time and this practice together as well. From my heart to yours, thank you.